Hey everyone, this is Trip on Two Wheels. Welcome back to the channel. So you like to ride a motorcycle, but you just don't happen to like the way it sounds. Or maybe you do and you just want to improve on it a little bit, make it sound a little better. So let's say you want to go from this to this. Or maybe from this to this. Or maybe even from this to this. Not too long ago, I wanted to put a new exhaust on my bike myself, and even though my bike was out of the factory warranty period at the time, I wondered to myself, you know, if this was a newer bike and still under warranty, what would putting on an exhaust or modifying my factory exhaust due to the factory warranty? I really didn't have a clue. So I spent the better part of a day calling all of the Japanese motorcycle makers, you know, Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda, Kawasaki. I called Indian, I called Harley Davidson, I called Royal Enfield, I called BMW, I called Triumph, Ducati, Vespa, Moto Guzzi, Aprilia, and probably a couple others. I can't remember, and sorry if I've left anybody off the list, but I called quite a few folks. Oh, this is pretty cool. Check this out. That is damn cool. Huh. Airplane on a stick. Go figure. Now, before I let you know just what I found out, I'd like to remind you I'm giving away a free Shoei RF1200 motorcycle helmet. All the details on how you can win this sucker are pinned in the comments section. Basically, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel to be entered into the contest. So, if you choose to subscribe, good luck. Now, I called each one of these motorcycle companies United States Customer Service 800 number. And just as a service to you, in case you need to call them for any reason, or if you want to double check on what I'm going to tell you today, I'm going to put all of their toll-free numbers at the end of this video, and I will also pin them in the comments section, or put them in the details, one of the two or maybe both. So here's pretty much what I found out. All of the companies I contacted have the same policy. Now, there are three that had a little bit different twist on it, and I'll go into those in a minute. But basically, all of the companies I contacted said that if you put an aftermarket exhaust or do an exhaust modification to a bike that is still under factory warranty, it does not affect your bike's warranty at all unless that new exhaust or exhaust modification was responsible for what goes wrong with your bike. However, here's the catch. The dealership is responsible for determining if, in fact, your exhaust caused the problem. Now, what could be susceptible to a bad exhaust install or something going wrong with an aftermarket exhaust? Well, obviously your emission systems, but most importantly, your engine and your drivetrain. So basically, if anything goes wrong with your drivetrain, anything in the motor, and your emission system, they could possibly blame your new exhaust or your exhaust modification on that. And it's totally up to the dealership. Totally up to the dealership. Now, there's three manufacturers that gave special warnings on top of this. So the first company was Indian, and what they told me is if you have an exhaust problem or a problem that is caused by the exhaust, they won't even look at your bike until all of the aftermarket parts are removed and the stock parts are put back on. Now, I'm sure this just relates to exhaust and exhaust parts, but you never know. They weren't specific. Now, if you've got a power commander or a booster plug or something like that on the bike too, that sucker's got to come off before you take it in. Now, again, that is the word of the company and their customer service. Be sure to call your dealership because they may have a different policy. Who knows? Now, Triumph was pretty similar in their response. They said that anything that is not stock on that bike has to come off and be replaced with stock parts before they'll look at the bike for a warranty issue. However, the dealership can overrule this. Call them to find out. And the most stringent of the group was Piaggio. Now, the Piaggio group makes Aprilia, Moto Guzzi, Vespa, and Piaggio scooters. And the lady I spoke to with customer service there flat out said, our owner's manuals highly recommend that you don't put any non-stock parts on our bikes, and they've definitely got to be removed. And Piaggio was also quick to add, just like Indian did, that anything that's emission system related, engine related, or drivetrain related could possibly be suspect and not covered under warranty if you have replaced your exhaust. And the dealership is completely responsible for figuring out if it did or did not cause the problem. So I'm not suggesting that any of this stop you from modifying your bike's exhaust system, but let's say that you want to lessen the risk of having troubles down the road. Well, obviously the first thing to do is buy a bike that's out of the warranty period, but that seems kind of self-defeating. I don't know that I'd worry too much about that. I think the most important thing to do is to buy your bike, if it's a new one, from a reputable dealer that has a reputation for working with its customers and not screwing them over. So step one, find a dealership that's going to treat you fairly. The second thing you might want to consider is, if you buy a new bike, order that aftermarket exhaust from that dealer and have them install it. If they're the ones who've installed it, that pretty much takes away all their claims, oh, it was improperly installed. And if a part, an exhaust that they've sold you breaks, well, they're going to be somewhat responsible for that warranty as well, and they're probably a lot less likely to screw you or to just flat out deny your warranty claim because the exhaust that you purchased from them and that they installed caused a problem with your bike. The third thing I'd recommend is make sure that you buy a well-known, well-respected aftermarket exhaust. Try to avoid putting on Billy Bob's exhaust from a guy, you know, the next town over who welds these things and fabricates them in his basement. My next recommendation is that when you buy your new bike, or a bike that is used and still under factory warranty, is call the company, call the dealership, your local dealership where you might have the bike worked on, and find out what their policy is. At least that way you're a lot less likely to get any bad surprises if a problem with your exhaust does arise. And then lastly, I strongly recommend that you keep all your stock parts that you take off the bike. And that's good for a couple of reasons. You know, if one of these Yahoo dealerships gets on you and says, oh no, we got to have the old exhaust put back on, you'll have it to do that. But secondly, when you sell the bike, there's some people that want a bike that's all stock. But if you try selling your factory exhaust off your bike on Craigslist, what are you going to get for it? 50 bucks? It's just not worth it. So is everything clear as mud? Probably so, huh? That's it for now, folks. This is Trip on Two Wheels saying goodbye and asking you to ride safe and ride often.